Hello, I'm Mickey Zeta, and I just got off the airplane. I just got home. I've been on airplanes all day long, and my tripod and everything else is in my suitcase, so I haven't had time to dig that out. So I'm going to try to hold the phone really still so you're not seeing this all jump around. I am so glad to be home, and I hear all these birds. I bet you can hear them too. So it's not Florida. It's kind of chilly here in Connecticut. What I'm talking about tonight, well, let me just say thank you. Thank you for joining me here on Surviving Abuse Network, and this is Wednesday night, Live with Mickey. I see that I've got a couple people on. Hi, Jan. Hi, Al. So glad to have you here. So what I'm talking about tonight is, for those of us who have lived in abuse, I've had a couple conversations this week about what is wrong with me. These women have said, what is wrong with me? He treated me poorly. I stayed for a long time. I did everything I could to make this marriage work, to make this relationship work. And then, hi, Julie. And then when I get out, I miss him. But he treated me poorly, so there's no reason I should have stayed. I didn't make a mistake, but I miss him and I love him. What is up with that? And you know, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. But I agree, and I did the same thing. When I first left my abuser, of course, we've been married a long time. We had a son together, and you know, it's just weird. It's just strange how we know we had to leave. I knew, I'm going to make it personal. I knew I had to leave. I knew that I wasn't going to be bruised anymore. I knew that the dynamics between me and him were not going to change. There was too much history, too much going on. Even if we wanted to, I don't think it would have changed, and I don't think he wanted to change. So that's the other thing. You know, you have to remember that it takes two people to make a relationship work. And if only one of them, if you're the only one who's trying to make this relationship go, if you're the only one who's trying to avoid major fights or huge conflict or the things, the dynamics that made your marriage or your relationship dangerous, if only one of you is trying to avoid that or change it, it's not going to happen, because a relationship is about two people. And if you're both not going to work, it's not going to do any good. That's the truth of it. That's the bottom line. That is the truth of it. So if you're out of your relationship and you're thinking, man, I miss him, or you know, I still love him, and I wish that we could work this out. I think part of what happens there is we're only remembering the good. We're not thinking about the shit. We're not thinking about how bad he was. We're not thinking about the last time we were bruised. We're thinking about when he showed up with flowers, or when he bought us some nice jewelry, or when we were on vacation and he treated us well. Or, you know, I mean, if they're bad all the time, we're not going to stay. We're not going to miss them. So that's the cool thing. Or that's the bad thing. These guys, they've got such good, kind, seemingly loving sides to them. And we are women with big hearts. You've heard me say that over and over. We women who are attracted to abusers have big hearts, and we want to make things better. And we believe that we can change them. We believe that if we just love them enough, or we just don't say the wrong things, or if we just, things will be different and things will be better. And we remember the good. You got to get past that. And that's why I say that if we don't change, nothing changes. Because as long as we're holding on to that thought process that we can change somebody else, that we can make it better, that we see the good in these guys, or women, if your abuser's a woman, but you know, I'm speaking to women who have male abusers. If we think that if we just try hard enough, we can change them, and we can't. We cannot do that. So part, I think, of feeling like we love them and that we miss them is that we still think we could change them. You can't do it. So I hope that you'll work through that. That's part of the personal growth, I think. And it's a hard part. I'll admit it. It's a hard part. I missed my abuser for a long time, and I said for years, up until, well, you know, maybe even until I started speaking my truth and doing Surviving Abuse Network, I still think I used to say, I love him, but I'm not in love with him, and there's a big difference. And there is. For a long time, I felt like he was sort of like a cousin, or you know, an extended family member. And it sort of was, you know, it was 34 years, but I didn't love him, really. I was just keeping my hurt and my frustration buried. I was continuing to play the head game, that it didn't really exist. I think that's another part of it. You know what? When we live in abuse, we protect our abusers. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. It's not healthy. But that's what we do. And I think that when we leave, that's still there in us. That's still in us until we do some personal growth, till we make some changes in ourselves. And then we realize it's okay. We don't have to hate them. We don't have to hate them. We don't have to wish them poor stuff. We don't have to, I remember, and I hate to admit it, but in the middle of the relationship I was in with my abuser, he'd go out and I used to hope, please God, don't let him come home. I didn't even care what that meant. Sometimes I thought if he would just disappear, it would be terrific. I wasn't proud of that. And if anything happened to him, I probably would have been overwhelmed with guilt. But that's what we go through. I'm sure some of you listening get that. Absolutely, you get that. So, let me go back. What's up with feeling like we miss them? What's up with feeling like we still love our abusers? I think we do. And I think that's part of our, conditioning. It's something that came with us before we got involved with our abuser, or abusers if you had more than one. So what I'm encouraging you to do is the same thing I always do: personal growth. Find somebody who can coach you. Find some groups that you can join where you can express your concerns. And sometimes when we write things out and we look back, we go, well, holy cow, what's going on with me? That's why I like journaling, because you can journal this stuff. Write out, take a journal out, piece of paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. A piece of copy paper if you need it, if you just want to grab something. Everybody's got copy paper around, so grab a piece of copy paper and just start writing. Why do I think I love him? Why do I think I miss him? And I think if you're honest with yourself, all that stuff is going to come out. All those things that really are there are going to come out, and it's going to help you resolve those conflicted feelings, those conflicting issues. So that's what I have to talk about tonight. If you're doing that, if you've left your abuser, and especially if he was dramatically physically abusive or dramatically emotionally abusive, what am I talking about? They're all they're all dramatically abusive. So we'd still be there if it wasn't true. Hi, Lisa. Glad to have you here. So maybe that's what I'm going to suggest for tonight. Journal. Write down what's going on with you. Think about what's going on in your head. What is causing this conflict where you think you still love this guy? Because you know what? He's not going to change. He is not going to change. If he was going to change, he'd have done it way before this. That's part of the problem too. They don't think they've done anything wrong. They're masters at blaming us, and they're masters at putting guilt on us about things that we believe and things we know, but they can convince us that that's not true. So don't let that happen. Personal growth is what will make you stronger. Personal growth will make you more confident. Personal growth will show you who these guys really are. And believe it, I learned years ago, when somebody shows you who they really are, believe them. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Don't play a head game. Don't pretend they're somebody else. Don't allow yourself to be taken in by the nice sides of them, because they're not always nice. And the bad side is dangerous. It's dangerous for your health. It's dangerous for your emotional self. All right, that's it. So I'm Mickey Zeta, which I'm going to encourage you to go to my webpage, survivingabusenetwork.com, survivingabusenetwork.com. And you can watch more live videos there. You can download podcasts. Lots of really great podcasts on there. I think there's 127 or 128 podcasts now, episodes on there. And I write blogs and posts. I haven't written recently in the last several weeks, but there's stuff there to read. It's all created for you. It's all created for those women who have left domestic abuse and who are trying to figure it out, what's really going on with them, and how do you create your authentic life? Because nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody's going to do that for you. That's your job. That's your responsibility. So embrace it. Enjoy it. Have fun with creating you. That's my message for today. And let go of thinking that you are still in love with your abuser. You're probably not. There's a lot of emotion there, and I get that, but you're probably not still in love with them. So It's just part of this, psychology. I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not a master social worker. I'm talking to you about what has worked for me in my life. That's what I teach. And I think that's more important than just about anything when you've lived it. Jan said, oh my gosh, I remember hoping that he wouldn't come home all these decades ago. That's right. It never goes away. It's when you're living in abuse, you know what? We all go through that. We all go through that. I remember wishing he would die. I remember wishing, I just wish he would die, because that would make it easier for me. It would make it easier. I'm glad he didn't, and I'm glad that didn't happen, because it was up to me to be strong. It was up to me to figure this out. That's not something anybody can do for me. Nobody's going to ride in with a magic pill that you can take, or give you 3 words that you can say and that it's all going to be resolved. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So embrace who you are. Embrace what you really think. Embrace what's best for you in your life. Create a life that you love. You can do it. SurvivingAbuseNetwork.com. Check it out. And thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I'm Mickey Zeta. I'll be back on Sunday night with Sunday Night Wine with Mickey. I got kind of excited, and so I probably bounced the phone around, and I apologize for that. But next week I'll have my tripod. On Sunday I'll have my tripod. Good night. Enjoy your evening. I'm so happy that you're here. SurvivingAbuseNetwork.com. Check it out. Lots of good stuff there. And I will see you on Sunday night, if not before.